Hey guys, it's Comcalib Studios here and welcome back to another video. Today's video we're going to be going over the recently released 2023 park map for Six Flags Great Adventure. As you guys know, opening day is less than a week away now. It is Saturday, April 1st. And in this video we're going to be going over the recently released map for the park and looking at what things have changed since last year, in addition to a few other things I noticed just through looking through that I thought were a little odd. Huge shout out to Great Adventure History Forums for spotting this change and noting a lot of the changes that were found on the map. But without further ado, let's get right into it, starting with the obvious removal of the parachutes. I know in yesterday's video I hinted baby parachutes aren't done since they were approved for operation this year, but I was able to find out that they were approved prior to the park deciding they were removing the attraction, so this only serves to cement that further, and parachutes are definitely gone. It's very weird to not see it on the park map, as it's been a staple of the park for close to 40 years now, but unfortunately things happen and the parachutes are no longer at Six Flags Great Adventure, at least no longer open at Six Flags Great Adventure. I imagine they will be standing but not operating for the entirety of 2023. Personally, I think it'd be really cool to see them retrofit the ride to become an observation tower. That's getting into speculation. Bottom line is, it is no longer on the map. Additionally, all on-ride photos have been completely removed from the park, except for Green Lantern. I think it's just a mistake. I think they forgot to remove this icon here, but all the park's rides that used to have on-ride photos, which included El Toro, King Ka, Log Flume, Green Lantern, and Nitro, all no longer have on-ride photos. Seems that they're trying to get rid of those at the park this year, and that also means the removal of the photo pass. You cannot buy that anymore either. So just keep that in mind, no more on-ride photos at the park this year. Additionally, the shop formerly known as Memorabilia has been renamed Walkway Shop. This is the shop over in the Golden Kingdom Adventure Outpost just before the Wild Walkway. That shop has gone through a couple name changes, and now it looks like they are deciding to call it the Walkway Shop, which is very fitting considering Wild Walkway is located right next to it. Next up, we have new autism centers located at the former Oasis Snacks of Junior Thrill Seekers, as well as the Camp Kitchen in Bugs Bunny National Park. A lot of parks have been introducing these recently. They're sensory rooms, or at least rooms for those that have sensory issues, which is really good to see that they're catering to those with disabilities, and they'll be able to enjoy the park while also getting a break at these sensory areas. Next up, we have a few new things on the boardwalk. For one, Chopsticks Express and the Six Below can now be seen on the park map. In years past, I don't remember seeing them on the map. And there's also a new location called the Boardwalk Tap House. That is actually replacing one of the games areas located adjacent to the two priorly mentioned stores. This is new for this year, and the park actually teased it with, I believe they had one of the higher ups at the park standing in that area. So it's basically going to be a new bar, and I believe it should be open for Screen Break, which is really cool. But yeah, those are new, and I do believe Six Below is a new name. It's an ice cream shop as far as I know, and I don't know if they're trying to rebrand some of the places in the park to Six Below. But this is not the only example of Six Below you're going to see. We'll get to another one right now, which is replacing the Ritas that used to be located right by Batman's Drop. That will also be named Six Below. So I think it's definitely cool that they're rebranding. As far as I know, the Boardwalk Ritas is still staying, so at least you can still get Ritas over there. But the other two Ritas locations, well, the other Ritas location in addition to another location will now be renamed Six Below. I imagine this could be very similar to the other ice cream shops throughout the park, but it's really cool to see this new branding that is more Six Flags oriented. Next up, we have Best of the West, which actually is not listed on the map for whatever reason. I hope this doesn't mean that they're permanently closing the restaurant, but I think it's kind of odd that they don't have it listed here. It was open last year. They even used it for the media event for Summer Vibes Festival. That's where they had a sample of food. So it'd be a real shame to see that place close. It's one of my favorite restaurants in the park, not necessarily for the food quality, but more for the aesthetics and the theming of it. It is easily, in my opinion, the best themed restaurant in the entire park. And I'd really like to see an overhaul project done on Best of the West in that whole Frontier Adventures area. But unfortunately, we don't have Best of the West on the map this year, so I guess we'll have to wait and see on opening day what the story is with that, if we can even get over there on opening day. The final new thing on the 2023 park map is the Arboretum. I hope I'm saying that right. Essentially, it's a new tree garden that's going to be located adjacent to Cyborg Cyberspin, kind of in the former location of the Haunted Castle and other former Old Country attractions. This is essentially a tree garden, and I believe the park, at least I believe this is what the park was alluding to with their hints and teasers about a new beautification project. I'm thinking that could be what this is, in addition to whatever the Great Adventure Garden is that was mentioned on the press release. I read it about a week ago. So very curious to see what this winds up being, so definitely keep an eye out for that on opening day. Now, like I said, that's it for the actual new stuff on the map, but there are a few weird things I wanted to point out on the map. They may have been present on maps in years past, they probably were, but while I was looking through the map to see what I saw new, these are some odd things I spotted that I just wanted to point out in this video. For one, in Junior Thrill Seekers, there's that fountain right next to Little Devil Coaster, and you can see here in that fountain there's like a weird statue. I'm not really sure what that's about, but as far as I know, there's no statue there yet. However, I did hear rumors that the fountain there is going to become like an actual fountain this year with something new added to it, so this could become something new, or maybe it's just going to remain as something weird, but definitely something to keep in mind and look for on opening day. Next up, we have the shading that's next to Barnstormer, and I did forget to mention Barnstormer has been added to the map, so that's really cool. But you can still see that shading right next to Barnstormer. Personally, I'm kind of hoping they get rid of that, as well as that weird theater seating. I think they should replace it with regular benches and tables, and maybe even make a priority to reopen the restaurants over there. That way it's more like an eating area, but I do think it's kind of odd that they still have that shading area on there. Additionally, the Starbucks location on Main Street, I believe it may still be called Sweet Treats, I don't remember exactly, but it went over an overhaul project last year and was redone. And in addition to that, it got a new exterior color scheme, and that is not present on the map. It's still pink, which is what it used to be. So maybe they'll update it at some point, just probably a little mistake they forgot to switch over for this year. Additionally, there is seating shown behind Waterhole, which is that small snack area where Wild Walkway and the rest of Golden Kingdom intersect. There's a seating area shown behind that you can't actually access. I don't know if it actually exists, but I know you can't access it since that's where the mazes exit. That's also where that kid splash area is still located. That's been closed for a while now. But you can't actually get back there anymore, so I think it's kind of interesting that it's still on the map. Additionally, Deja Vu, which is the park scrambler, is the wrong color scheme on the map. The ride is red last I checked, and on the map it's blue. So that's interesting. Additionally, the mirror maze is not shown on the park map. That could be because they usually only have it open for special events like Halloween for Fright Fest and the holiday season for Holiday in the Park. But I do think it's kind of interesting that it's not shown on the map, because personally I would have it on the map even if it's not open all year. Also, Northern Star Arena is still there. I know a lot of us were predicting that the Northern Star Arena would be demolished for this season, but judging off the fact that it's still on the map, either they haven't decided what they're going to do with it yet, or it's staying this year. As far as I know, it's going to need a pretty big restoration project if they do plan on keeping it. Since it hasn't been used in so many years, it needs some updating. But I do think it's kind of interesting that they haven't removed it quite yet. So I guess we'll see what happens with that. Additionally, there is a changed logo for Medusa. Last year on the park map, there was the full logo. But then in the park, there were certain maps up and around that had a different logo, and that is this logo with the snakes. Just something interesting I thought would be a odd change, but here it is. Next up, we have Nitro's train color, which you can actually see on this map is still yellow, and as far as we know, that is not going to be the case this year. As we saw from the drone, it now has a blue color scheme, so I thought maybe it'd be interesting to see them updated on the map, but I guess that's not happening, so guess we'll have to wait and see in person what Nitro's full color scheme will look like on the trains. And finally, a little note down here is that Wild Walkway actually closes daily at 5 o'clock p.m. Now, last year they would kind of close it sporadically. It would just change it all the time when it would close. But maybe they're going to keep that strict this year, that it will close exactly at 5 o'clock every day. I guess we'll have to wait and find out. But with that being said, that is everything I have for you guys in this video, going over all the changes and interesting things on the 2023 Six Flags Great Adventure Park map. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Opening day is coming up very soon. If you guys want the best, high quality, fastest content on opening day at Great Adventure, be sure to subscribe and turn on that bell for Hollywood Studios. With that being said, I'm Colin for Hollywood Studios, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye, guys.